State of Michigan, 36th District Court is now in session with the Honorable Christina B. Kennedy. Your proceedings is to be no driving, smoking, eating, drinking, sleeping, or laying down. Do not start your video or mute your device unless the court instructs you to do so. And if there's anything that you need to do that you don't want the rest of the world to see, please walk away from the camera quietly. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, y'all.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Judge Christina B. Kennedy. Do me a favor, if you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up sign. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm Judge Kennedy. I will preside over the docket for courtroom 433 this afternoon. This is a landlord-tenant docket. We have a moderate docket today. Before I get started, well, first, I'm going to call all the cases at one time. Okay, so I'm going to call the cases all at once. After I call all of the cases, I will ask for the plaintiff's attorneys to place your appearances on the record. If the plaintiffs do not have an attorney, I will ask you to state your name, and then I'll do the same for the defendants. Please, at that time, if you are not already unmuted, well, if your camera is not already on, please turn it on and then unmute yourself and state your name. If you called in, please dial *6 to unmute. Before we get started, I do want to just advise everyone, let you know we are streaming these proceedings live over YouTube. That means that anybody in the world can join us and watch these proceedings. So I want to emphasize Officer Wallace's instruction that if there's anything that you do not want the rest of the world to see you doing, you please make sure you step away from your device or turn your camera off before you do it. That's to prevent any embarrassment. So if you need to use the restroom or change your clothes or something like that, please make sure you completely step away from your device before doing so, okay? All right. I'm about to call all of the cases. Now calling case number 24351-080. This is Detroit Real Estate Advisors, LLC versus Lisa Kirksey and all occupants of 14566 Lauder in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-092, Karen L. Dunbar versus Sabrina Webb and all occupants of 2958 Clements in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-130. This is the Baxter Apartments versus Orlando R. McQueen and all other occupants of 2623 West McNichols, apartment 207 in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-131. The Baxter Apartments versus Brandon D. Wright and all other occupants of 2645 West McNichols, apartment 111 in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-132, the Baxter Apartments versus Shawanda Smith and all other occupants of 2645 West McNichols, apartment 112 in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-133, Dearborn Southfield Service Drive owner LLC versus Sean Brown and Nikki Brown and all other occupants of 5777 Southfield Freeway, number 0122 in the city of Detroit. Calling case number 24351-193. Yvette Allen, personal representative versus Tawan, Tawan Golite and all occupants of 8824 Artesian in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-219, Vladimir Velichko versus Regina Davison. This is for property located at 17163 Main Street in the city of Detroit. Calling case number 24351-220, Vladimir Velichko versus Holmes Titania. This is for property located at 6870 Iowa Street in the city of Detroit. And finally, calling case number 24351-233. This is Mrs. Teresa Ousley versus Tracy Beeman. This is for property located at 11706 Fielding Street in the city of Detroit. These matters are before the court on complaints to recover possession of property and complaints for non-payment of rent. Today is the date and time scheduled for a first hearing for all of the matters that I just called. Pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17, all first hearings are to be adjourned. Therefore, these matters will be adjourned to a new date. Ladies and gentlemen, please write this information down. Your next court date for these matters will be September 13th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Again, September 13th at 8:30 a.m. That is the next time that the court will call these cases. The next court hearing will be held in person down at the 36th District Court, which is located at 421 Madison in downtown Detroit. I'm in courtroom 433, therefore you all need to come to courtroom 433 on September 13th at 8:30 a.m. If you are logged into this session via a smartphone or a tablet, Madam Clerk did just type the information into the Zoom chat, so you should be able to go into the Zoom chat and retrieve that information. If you'd like, you could screenshot it. Otherwise, you can write the information down. Somehow record the information, although the court is going to mail notices to appear to all parties. I do like to make sure everybody records the information about the next court date. Plaintiffs, you need to bring with you to the next court date the following documentation. You need a copy of your deed, a copy of the lease agreement, if there's one in place, a copy of the completed proof of service. If rent is an issue, I need the most up-to-date rental ledger, and I need any property management agreement that is in place. And if you are filing on behalf of a personal, if you are the personal representative or conservator, when you're filing on behalf of an estate, I need the letters of authority as well. Failure to provide those documents at the next court date, if you have not already filed them, will result in dismissal of your case. So again, plaintiffs, I need the deed, the lease agreement, the most up-to-date rental ledger, any property management agreement in place, letters of authority, and a completed proof of service. And all of those need to be brought to court in paper format. Defendants, if you have any evidence that supports your defense, you need to reduce it to paper and bring it to court in paper format. Specifically, I am speaking of receipts for rental payments or photographs. Please don't bring your cell phone in the courtroom and ask me to scroll through your cell phone. I don't generally look through people's cell phones, and I cannot put your cell phone in the file as evidence. So if you have any evidence that supports your defense or your claim, please make sure you reduce it to paper and bring it to court on September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Defendants, you have the right to be represented by an attorney if you so choose. Plaintiffs, you also have the right to be represented by an attorney if you choose. Plaintiffs, you can hire your own attorney. Defendants, you can hire your own attorney, or you can speak to the agency attorneys that are logged into our Zoom session today. They are here to speak to you, the defendant tenants, to provide you with legal advice for the day, with the potential of them taking on your case to represent you throughout the close of these proceedings, and that would be free of charge to you. At the end of today's hearing, I will ask that you, the defendants, be transferred into a breakout room. If you're logged in via a tablet or a cell phone, a smartphone, I should say, you'll receive a prompt come across your screen. Please tap the prompt. It will take you into the breakout room. If you called in today, meaning you dialed a telephone number to join our session, you don't have to worry about receiving any prompts. You will be transferred automatically. Either way, once you get into the breakout room, you will be in there by yourself for just one moment, and you will not be able to hear or see what's going on in the main session. We in the main session will not be able to hear or see what's going on with you in the breakout room. I ask that you have patience for every, we have only so many defense attorneys. They are going to make their way into every breakout room. So you may be sitting in the breakout room for, a little bit before someone comes in. Please don't start pressing buttons, raising your hand, or coming back out into the main session unprompted. That will just distract me and slow us down. Please have patience. Everyone will be seen by a defense attorney. Once you're done speaking with the defense attorneys, you are free to log off, defendants, but please make sure you come back to court in person on September 13th at 8:30 a.m. If you do not come to court on September 13th at 8:30 a.m., a default judgment will be entered against you. Plaintiffs, if you do not come to court on September 13th at 8:30 a.m., your case will be dismissed. So everybody, please make sure you come to court timely on September 13th. With all of that having been said, for matter ending in 080, is the plaintiff's counsel present for Detroit Real Estate Advisors, LLC? Madam Clerk has indicated that the plaintiff did not check in on this matter. Is Lisa Kirksey or any occupant of 14566 Lauder present? Madam Clerk has indicated that the defendant also failed to check in. I do not have a proof of service in the file. I am checking the register of actions to see if there is a proof of service that has been filed that just has not made it to our physical file. According to our register of actions, there has been no proof of service filed. And so the court is going to adjourn this matter to a different date so that the plaintiff can effectuate service. This matter will be adjourned to August 30th, 2024, and this will be a Zoom hearing, which will take place at 1:35 p.m. The court will mail notice to both parties. That concludes the matter ending in 080. For matter ending in 092, is the plaintiff Karen Dunbar present? If so, please turn on your camera. Oh, there you are. What's your name, ma'am?
Karen L. Dunbar.
Good afternoon to you, Ms. Dunbar. Is the defendant Sabrina Webb or any occupant of 2958 Clements present?
Yes.
What's your name?
Nicholas Jones.
Mr. Jones, do you live at 2958 Clements?
Yes.
Okay, is there anyone else here for this case? I see it's Sabrina Webb. Please turn on your camera and unmute yourself and state your name. Someone logged in under that.
Sabrina Webb.
Okay, is your camera working, ma'am?
Yes.
Can you turn it on?
It's on.
No, it's not. I just sent you a prompt asking you to start the video.
You're not good with technology. Mama, you gotta have somebody turn on your
Okay, that's okay. That's quite all right. All right. So, Mr. Jones, did you get the information about the next court date?
Yes.
What about you, Ms. Webb?
Yes.
Okay, I'll see you both here in person on September 13th at 8:30. Can I have someone transfer Sabrina Webb and also Nicholas Jones into a breakout room? Please follow the prompt. Just tap the prompt when it comes across your screen, please.
Okay.
Thank you. That concludes the matter. Oh, Ms. Dunbar, do you have the date? I'm sorry. Where's she?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
September
all right, Ms.
13th.
Dunbar, please make sure you bring all the documents that I indicated are necessary, okay? All right. You can log off, Ms. Dunbar. That concludes the matter ending in 092.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
For matters, thank you. Thank you. For matters ending in, thank you, 130, 131, 132, 133, and that's it. Can I have plaintiff's counsel place your appearance on the record?
Good morning, Your Honor, or good afternoon, Your Honor. David Fantera on behalf of the plaintiff.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you, Attorney Fantera. For matter ending in 130, is the defendant Orlando McQueen or any occupant of 2623 West McNichols 207 present?
I'm present.
Okay, please turn on your camera and state your name.
Okay, wait one second. Okay, I got it.
What's your name?
I think is my camera on? Can you see me?
I can see you, yes. What's your name?
Oh, Orlando McQueen.
Okay, good afternoon to you, Mr. McQueen. You are the defendant on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Did you get the information about the next court date?
Correct. I paid it this morning, though.
Okay, Attorney Fantera, do you have knowledge of Mr. McQueen having paid his balance in full?
I do not, but I will check as soon as we finish court. And if so, I will submit a dismissal and I will let Mr. McQueen know.
All right, so Mr. McQueen, Attorney Fantera does not have proof that you have paid, so he can't dismiss the matter right now. He just said he's gonna check after we call, after we end. Well, Attorney Fantera, can you check while I'm talking to the other parties after I'm done with your cases?
I can try. I'll see what I can do, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, so I'll pass on this one for just one moment, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. You can mute yourself for now, Mr. McQueen. For matter ending in 131 is Brandon D. Wright or any occupant of 2645 West McNichols Apartment 111 present.
Yes, I'm present.
Please turn on your camera and state your name. You just muted yourself. I just sent you a prompt to unmute.
Brandon Wright.
All right, good afternoon to you, Mr. Wright. You are the defendant on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Did you get the information about the next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna ask for you to be transferred. We'll see you in person on the date and time that I just stated on the record. Can I have someone transfer Brandon Wright into a breakout room? Mr. Wright, just follow the prompt, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day. That concludes matter ending in 131. For matter ending in 132 is Shawanda Smith or any occupant of 2645 West McNichols Apartment 112 present.
Yes,
Okay, please state your name.
Shawanda Smith.
Good afternoon to you, Ms. Smith. You are
Good
the
afternoon.
defendant. Thank you. You're the defendant on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Did you get the information about the next court date?
Yes.
All
Now,
right. Yes, ma'am.
okay. I was gonna say, I spoke with them today, well, the other day, letting them know I was gonna make the payment today. I have to do it when I get off work because they disabled my account, but also my lease is up and I'll be moving out in 2 weeks.
All right. Attorney Fantera, I don't know if you heard that. I saw that you were on the telephone. So did you hear that?
I did, Your Honor. I was trying to reach my client on the other case and nobody is answering in the office. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna get an answer on this one either, but sounds like by the
But
time.
she said she hasn't paid yet, but she plans on paying today. And she also plans on vacating. So Ms. Smith, what I will tell you, like I tell all of the tenants, the defendants, if you pay or move out before the next court date, make sure you contact Attorney Fantera so that he knows. Because if you don't show up at the next court date and Attorney Fantera does not have information that you've either paid or moved out, he's gonna ask for a default judgment and you don't want that in your name unnecessarily, okay? All right, so I am going to transfer you into a breakout room so that you can talk to a defense attorney. That's free of charge to you. And then also, please stay in contact with the plaintiff's attorney, okay?
Okay.
All right, can I have someone transfer Shawanda Smith into a breakout room? Just follow the prompt, please. That concludes the matter ending in 132. All right, back to the case ending in 130. Mr. McQueen, are you still here?
I'm still here.
Okay, so Attorney Fantera was unable to get in contact with his client. So I'll tell you the same thing I just told the previous defendant. Stay in contact with Attorney Fantera to make sure, you know, the matter's dismissed. If you don't receive a dismissal in the mail before September 13th, well, I would presume Attorney Fantera, how soon do you anticipate communicating with your client?
Probably later today. Can I ask
Okay.
Mr. McQueen if the last four of his phone number, just the last four, are 3082?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I'll be in touch with Mr. McQueen within 24 hours.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. McQueen, if you get notice that the plaintiff is dismissing the case, then you don't have to come to court on September 13th. But if you haven't heard anything, you should probably come to court, okay? So that you
I'll
don't get a
definitely be
default
there.
judgment. All right, okay,
Okay.
that concludes the matter ending in 130. Can I have someone transfer Orlando McQueen? Have a good day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, for matter ending in 133 is Sean Brown or Nikki Brown or any occupant of 5777 Southfield Freeway, apartment 122 present.
I am.
Hello, good
Yes,
afternoon.
ma'am.
Please state your name.
Sean Brown.
All right, Mr. Brown, you are the defendant on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Do you have the information about the next court date?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, we'll see you on September 13th at 8:30 in the morning. Gonna have someone transfer Mr. Sean Brown into a breakout room. Mr. Brown, just tap the prompt, it'll take you into the room. Have a good day. That
too.
concludes the matter ending in 133. Thank you.
Your Honor, that's all for me today. Have a great weekend.
That's it for you. Okay, thank you, Attorney Fantera. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, for matter ending in 193, is Yvette Allen present? You are muted. Let me.
Yes.
Okay, you're on. Good afternoon. Will you state your name, please?
Yvette Allen.
All right. Hello, Ms. Allen. You're the plaintiff in this complaint to recover possession of property. Is Tawan Galladay present? Madam Clerk has indicated that the defendant has failed to check in, but there is a proof of service in the file. And so the court is going to proceed with the first hearing on this complaint to recover possession of property. This first hearing will, yes, ma'am.
He left the property and
I'm
he
trying to-
destroyed it.
Hold on. We have several people talking at the same time. I need Sean Brown to be transferred. Tap the prompt when you receive the prompt, Mr. Brown. All right, Ms. Allen, what were you saying?
He left the property, but he also destroyed the property.
Okay, so this is a complaint to recover possession of property. Have you recovered, do you have the keys or? Have you
No,
recovered possession?
he won't give up the keys. We went over there. He has contacted my nephew, told my nephew he left. And I went over there Tuesday to change the locks. He took the central air unit, the furnace, put holes in the wall and the thermostat. And then my brother went back the next day. He's very ignorant. He started arguing with my brother, telling my
Okay,
brother.
let me stop you. Are you related to this individual?
No, I'm not. He's no kin
Okay.
to me.
All right, so did you change the locks to the house?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you have possession of the house now?
Yes.
All right, so you filed a complaint to recover possession of property. The ultimate relief that the court can request when a complaint like that is filed is a judgment telling the defendant to move out by a certain date. He's already gone, and so there's no more relief that the court can provide you. I understand you said he's damaged the house. You have remedies in civil court, but this is landlord-tenant court, and because you have already recovered possession of the house, then this matter should be dismissed, okay?
Okay.
All right, so this matter is dismissed without prejudice. I will send a copy of the dismissal order in the mail, and as I said, you may have civil remedies, so you might want to consult an attorney about that, okay?
Can I see an attorney?
You're the plaintiff. These attorneys that are logged in here are an agency. They work for an agency that is contracted to provide legal advice to defendant tenants. Okay.
Okay.
So you would have to consult with an attorney on your own.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So you'll get a dismissal order in the mail. Thank you so much. That concludes the matter ending in 193.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. For matters ending in 219 and 220, is plaintiff Vladimir Velichko present? All right, Madam Clerk says that he was present, but he logged off. For my purposes, he is not here. Is the defendant Regina Davison here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Can you state your name for the court reporter?
Good afternoon, Regina Davison.
All right, hello, Ms. Davison. You are the defendant on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Do you have the information about the next court date?
Yes.
All right, we'll see you on the 13th of September at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to send you a prompt or have someone else send you a prompt. Just tap the prompt to go into the breakout room. That concludes matter ending in 219. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're welcome. For matter ending in 220 is Tamia Holmes present.
Yes, I'm present.
Good afternoon. Please state your name for the court reporter.
Good afternoon. It's Tamia Holmes.
All right, Ms. Holmes, you are the defendant on a complaint to recover possession of property. Do you have the information about the next court date?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see you on the date and time that I indicated on the record and in courtroom 433. Can I have someone transfer Titamia Holmes into a breakout room? Ms. Holmes, just tap the prompt. It'll take you into the breakout room, okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a good day. That concludes the matter ending in 220. For matter ending in 233 is the plaintiff, Teresa Ousley, present. Please turn on your camera, unmute yourself and state your name. We have somebody on the telephone too.
I am on the telephone. There's something wrong with my camera on my tablet. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Is that you on the Samsung trying to get into the waiting room?
Yes, ma'am. That's me.
Okay. All right. So state your name for the court reporter, please.
My name is True.
Uh-oh. Okay. So we don't need both devices. Which one is it? Can you hear me? She logged off. Okay. Okay. You're still here on the Samsung. Please unmute yourself and state your name.
Tracy Beeman. My name is Tricia Alfley.
Tricia, sorry about the mispronunciation. Tricia Owsley.
Yes.
Can you spell your name for the court reporter, please?
It's THERESIA.
And your last name as well.
OUSLEY.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon to you, Ms. Owsley.
Thank you.
Defendant, can you say your name again, please?
Tracy Beeman.
All right, good afternoon to you, Mr. Beeman. Ms. Owsley, you are the plaintiff. Mr. Beeman, you are the defendant. This is the complaint for non-payment of rent. Do you have the information about the next court date, Ms. Owsley?
Yes, I do.
All right, what about you, Mr. Beeman?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'll see you both here on the 13th of September at 8:30 a.m. Mr. Beeman, I'm about to have you transferred into a breakout room. Please follow the prompts. Ms. Owsley, please bring all the information that I stated is necessary to proceed, okay?
I sure will. Thank you.
All right, thank you both. That concludes matter ending 2-3. You can log off. You too. Thank you, Ms. Owsley. And I need you to follow the prompt when it comes across your screen, Mr. Beeman.
Okay.
That concludes 233. Thank you. All right, that concludes the docket for courtroom 433 for Friday, August 2nd, 2024. All right, we have a docket to call for next week.
Your Honor, can
Attorney
I get
DeGard needs co-host. Okay.
Yes, I want to hop around to these breakout rooms.
All right, there you are. Does anybody else? Attorney Boyke, you are already a co-host. Okay. All right, so I'm going to, let's get Thursday done. Thank you. Okay. All right, this is the docket for Thursday, August 8th, 2024. Now calling case number 24351-451, Michael Murray versus occupants of 21439 Barbara Street in the city of Detroit. Also calling case number 24351-457, Mutual Property Management LLC versus Tiara Sims and all occupants of 5884 Minnock in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Matter ending in 451 is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Also calling case number 243514558, Mutual Property Management LLC versus William Stevens and all occupants of 9344 Crest in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Also calling case number 243514559, Mutual Property Management LLC versus all occupants of 15487 Indiana Street in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Calling case number 2435146, Mutual Property Management LLC versus all occupants of 18624 Albion Street in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Also calling case number 2435146, Mutual Property Management LLC versus all occupants of 12088 Hartwell Street in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Also calling case number 2435148, Richard Foster versus Yvonne Williams. This is for property located at 12048 Roselawn Street in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 2435147, West Chicago Apartments versus Jasmine Smith and all occupants of 3410 West Chicago, apartment 406 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435148. This is West Chicago Apartments versus Latanya Brown and all occupants of 3410 West Chicago, apartment 305 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435149. West Chicago Apartments versus Nancy Dudash and all occupants of 3410 West Chicago, apartment 302 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435149, West Chicago Apartments versus Stanford Holloway and all occupants of 3410 West Chicago, apartment B3 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. All of the matters that I just called are scheduled for a first hearing to take place, or I should say scheduled for first hearings to take place on Thursday, August 8th, 2024. Pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17, all first hearings are to be adjourned. Therefore, all of the matters that I just called will be adjourned to one of the two following dates. For all matters in which there is a proof of service in the file or the defendant appears in court or the plaintiff's attorney can articulate terms of service to the court on the date of the first hearing, those matters will be adjourned to an in-person subsequent hearing, which will take place on September 12th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. in courtroom 433 at the 36th District Court, which is located at 421 Michigan in downtown Detroit. All of the cases that I just called, just for the record, there are no proofs of service in any of the cases that I've just called at this moment. However, on August 8th, 2024, if there is no proof of service in the file and the defendant has not appeared, and the plaintiff's attorney cannot articulate terms of service to the court, those matters will be adjourned to September 5th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. And those will be a Zoom hearing. Again, if service has been effectuated and it's obvious at the first hearing, then the court will adjourn the matter to a September 12th in-person hearing date at 8:30 in the morning. If service has not been effectuated, then the matter will be adjourned to a Zoom hearing to take place on September 5th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. The court will mail notice. All parties are to bring all substantiating documents. Plaintiffs are to bring deeds, lease agreements, current rental ledgers if rent is at issue, completed proofs of service, and property management agreements if property management agreements are in place. If the plaintiff is filing on behalf of an estate, I need letters of authority. Failure to provide those documents at the next court hearing will result in dismissal of the case. Defendants should bring all evidence supporting their defense in paper format to the next court hearing. Any defendant who appears the first hearing scheduled for August 8th at 1:30 p.m. will have an opportunity to speak to a defense attorney. The court will mail notice. That concludes these matters. Now calling case number 24351-491 West Chicago Apartments versus Tamika Cummings and all occupants of 3410 West Chicago, apartment 107 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-492 Paquette Square LDHALP versus Jimmy Callahan and all occupants of 6221 Breast Street, apartment 339 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-493 Paquette Square LDHALP versus Marvin Kidd and all occupants of 6221 Brush Street, apartment 301 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-494 East Side Apartments versus Donica Shy and all occupants of 3801 Holcomb, apartment 209 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-495 East Side Apartments versus Leela Haley and all occupants of 3801 Holcomb, apartment 206 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-496 East Side Apartments versus Scott Jackson and all occupants of 3801 Holcomb, apartment B5 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-497 East Side Apartments versus Tobias Strobel and all occupants of 3801 Holcomb, apartment 108 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-498 Whitdale Apartments, SWHSG Partners 2, LDHALP versus George Stewart and all occupants of 1250 Hubbard, apartment 4D in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 243514999. This is Whitdale Apartments, SWHSG Partners 2, LDHALP versus Steve Cochran and all occupants of 1250 Hubbard, apartment 3G in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 2435150, UC 641 Covington LP versus Brad Staples and all occupants of 641 Covington, apartment A3 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 2435151, UC 731 Covington LP versus Christopher Thompson and all occupants of 731 Covington, apartment 205 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 2435152, UC 731 Covington LP versus Yaman McIver and all occupants of 731 Covington, apartment 102 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. All of the matters that I just called are scheduled for a first hearing to take place on Thursday, August 8th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. via Zoom. Pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17, all first hearings shall be adjourned. Therefore, for all of the cases that I just called, there will be an adjournment to one of the two following days. For cases where the defendant has appeared or there is a proof of service in the file or the plaintiff's attorney is able to articulate the terms of service to the court will adjourn the matter to a subsequent hearing to take place on September 23rd, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. in person down at the 36th District Court, which is located at 421 Madison in downtown Detroit in courtroom 433. For matters where the plaintiff is unable to articulate service, the defendant has not appeared for the first hearing, and there is no proof of service or there is no proof of service in the file, the matter will be adjourned to a technical first hearing to take place on September 5th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. via Zoom. Plaintiffs are still obligated to bring all substantiating documentation to the next subsequent hearing. That is the deed, the lease agreement, the rental ledger, the completed proof of service, any property management agreement, and if the plaintiff involves an estate, I need letters of authority. Failure to bring those documents to the next court hearing will result in dismissal of the case. Defendants are to bring any evidence substantiating or supporting their defense to the next court hearing, and it must be reduced to paper. Any defendant who appears at the first hearing on August 8th, 2024 will have an opportunity to speak to an agency attorney. The court will mail notices to all parties. That concludes these matters. Now calling case number 2435153, Fountain Court Consumers HSG Co-op versus Kiara Batts and all occupants of 3008 Lawton in the city of Detroit. And that's 3008 Lawton, apartment 162 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 243511504 versus Emerald Springs Apartments LDHALP versus Caprice Williams and all occupants of 5708 Emerald Springs apartments, 5708 Emerald Springs Circle in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Calling case number 24351-505 Emerald Springs Apartments LDHALP versus Chanel Kelly Bell and all occupants of 5795 Emerald Springs in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Calling case number 24351-506 Emerald Springs Apartments LDHALP versus Lisa Williams and all occupants of 5706 Emerald Springs in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Calling case number 24351-507 Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Anthony Henry Crum and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph Apartment 245 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24351-508 Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Danielle Lindsay and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph Apartment 244 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Also calling case number 24351-509 Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Kenya Bugs and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph Apartment 238 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Also calling case number 24351-510 Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Kevin Williams and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph Apartment 250 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24351-511 Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus La Rochelle Morton and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph Apartment 237 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24351-512 Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Marlena Braswell and Isaac McKay and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph Apartment 241 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24348-682. This matter is this is MSREO Group Trust dated May 3rd, 2018 versus Cecil A. Williams and all occupants of 9911 Rutland Street in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for possession after land contract forfeiture. Okay, this particular case is scheduled for a technical first hearing. The first hearing in this matter was held on July 11th, 2024. Neither the plaintiff nor the defendant appeared at that first hearing. There is no proof of service in the file, and so the court adjourned the matter to today to allow for service. There is no proof of service in this file indicating that the defendant has been served. Additionally, this is a land contract matter requiring an order for alternative service if service is unable to be obtained. In this case, the plaintiff has not filed a motion for alternative service. This matter will be adjourned one more time. This matter is adjourned to August 30th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. via Zoom. If the plaintiff does not appear and we have not had a proof of service filed, at that point, the court will dismiss the matter. That concludes the matter ending in 682. This with the rest of them. Do you want me to leave this with the rest of them? It's just one that I gave a certain date to. Just leave it in, okay. All right, thank you. All right. Now calling case number 24348694. This is ARTARC LLC versus Louis Antonio Palmer Harris and all occupants of 19657 Eureka in the city of Detroit. This matter is scheduled for a technical first hearing. The matter is before the court on a complaint for possession after land contract forfeiture. Okay. The court first called this matter on July 11, 2024. Neither the plaintiff nor the defendant appeared at the first hearing, which was held on that date. This complaint for land contract forfeiture requires in order for alternative service if the plaintiff is unable to attain service. The proof of service in the file indicates that service has not been properly attained. And so the court is going to adjourn this matter to another technical first hearing to take place on August 30th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. and that will be via Zoom. I will note that strike that matter first. I'll note that the plaintiff has not filed a motion for alternative service, nor was the plaintiff present at the initial first hearing. If the plaintiff does not appear at the next first hearing and does not file a proof of service or a motion for alternative service, then the court is going to dismiss the matter. That concludes, oh wait, no. All of the cases that I just called, with the exception of the last two matters ending in 682 and 694 are before the court, scheduled for a first hearing to take place on August 8th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17. All of the matters will be adjourned to one of the two following dates. For all matters in which service has been attained as obviated by the filing of a proof of service or the defendant's appearance at the Zoom first hearing, or if the plaintiff's counsel can articulate terms of service to the court, then those matters will be adjourned to September 25th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. in person down at 36th District Court for the state of Michigan, located at 421 Madison in downtown Detroit in courtroom 433. If service has not been attained or the defendant has not appeared at the first hearing scheduled for August 8th at 1:30, and the plaintiff's counsel was unable to articulate terms of service to the court, Then the matters will be adjourned to September 5th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. via Zoom. Plaintiffs are to provide all substantiating documentation in paper format at the next in-person hearing. Defendants are to provide all evidence that supports their defense in person at the next hearing. Failure to provide substantiating documentation on behalf of the plaintiff will result in dismissal of the case. The defendants who appear at the first hearing scheduled for August 8th at 1:30 p.m. will have an opportunity to speak to an agency of defense attorney free of charge. The court will mail notices to appear to all parties. That concludes these matters. That. That's okay. Okay, so we have one more docket, Madam Court Reporter, two more. They're divided into two separate dates. Water. I'll drink this nasty water over here. That tastes good. If you could, Officer Wallace, I appreciate it.
Another fresh cup.
Yeah, this one got all lips. Yeah. Oops. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh no. Did I call this? Shut up. Oh, okay. This is Friday. I thought I had missed one from Thursday. I was about to have a breakdown. It's about to be nervous breakdown status in here. Okay. All right. I am now calling the docket for Friday, August 9th, 2024, the 1:30 p.m. docket. Now calling case number 24351-513. This is Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Ramon Mayat and all occupants of 16800 Telegraph, apartment 229 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-514, Langford at Telegraph Apartments versus Valen Edmonds and Laniel Wallace and Shy Morgan and all occupants of 3521 Knipp Street, apartment 105 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-515, Russell Woods Apartments versus Catherine Shepard and all occupants of 11603 14th Street, apartment 104 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351-517, Russell Wood Apartments versus O'Davy Buford and all occupants, or that might be O'Davy Buford, and all occupants of 11621 14th Street, apartment 104 in the city of Detroit. Thank you so much. You got it. Stuck my finger all in that. Matters before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Also calling case number 24351-518. Russellwood Apartments versus Tamika Ely and all occupants of 11551 14th Street, Apartment 2 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Also calling case number 24351 Granada Apartments North, COH Greenfield Apartments LLC versus Tyree Barnes and all occupants of 17371 Greenfield, Apartment 21 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351 Granada Apartments North, COH Greenfield Apartments versus Tyrone Cornelius and all occupants of 17331 Greenfield, Apartment 17 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Also calling case number 24351 Fountain Court Consumer Housing Co-op versus Justin Franklin and all occupants of 2655 Martin Luther King 1D, Apartment 293 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24351 Fountain Court Consumer HSG Co-op versus Martina Hale and all occupants of 2678 Butternut, Apartment 137 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351 Fountain Court Consumer HSG Co-op versus Alexis Richardson and all occupants of 2858 18th Street, Apartment 1B, Apartment 50 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the courts on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24351 Granada Apartments South, COH Greenfield Apartments versus Cassandra Evans and all occupants of 15020 Greenfield, Apartment 5 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351 Granada Apartments South, COH Greenfield Apartments versus Kevin Riley and all occupants of 15020 Greenfield, Apartment 14 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Case number 24351 Granada Apartments South, COH Greenfield Apartments LLC versus Leanne Harris and all occupants of 15020 Greenfield, Apartment 10 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rents. Calling case number 24351 Granada Apartments South, COH Greenfield Apartments LLC versus Michelle DeSalle and all occupants of 15050 Greenfield, Apartment 12 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351 Granada Apartments South versus Sylvester Avery and all occupants of 15050 Greenfield, Apartment 14 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. All of the matters that I just called are scheduled for a first hearing to be held on Friday, August 9th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. via Zoom. Pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17, the matters that I just called will be adjourned to one of the two court dates. For all matters in which a proof of service has been filed, the defendant appears for the first hearing, or the plaintiff is able to articulate, I should say the plaintiff's attorney is able to articulate the terms of service to the court. The matter will be adjourned to September 17th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. That will take place in person in courtroom 433 at the 36th District Court, which is located at 421 Madison in downtown Detroit. For matters in which service has not been effectuated, as obviated by the lack of a proof of service, no proof of service and no defendant appearing at the court hearing, or if the plaintiff's attorney is unable to articulate terms of service, then those matters will be adjourned to a technical first hearing to take place on September 6th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. and that will be via Zoom. As with all of the hearings, plaintiffs are to bring to court with them the following documents substantiating their claim: the deed, the lease agreement, the most up-to-date rental ledger, the completed proof of service, and any property management agreement. It must be in paper format. If there's a state involved, the plaintiff must also bring the letters of authority. Failure to provide those documents at the next court date or at the subsequent hearing could result in dismissal of the case. Defendants are to bring any evidence that supports their defense, and it must be reduced to paper. Any defendant who appears at the first hearing scheduled for Friday, August 9th at 1:30 p.m. will have an opportunity to speak to an agency defense attorney. And the court will mail notice to all of the parties following that first hearing. That concludes these matters. All right, this is the last group, Madam Court Reporter. Now calling case number 2435159, Paquette Square LDHALP versus Donald Thomas and all occupants of 6221 Brush Street, apartment 342 in the city of Detroit. Calling case number 2435153, Warren Plaza Wonderland LDHA versus Dorothy White and all occupants of 430 East Warren, apartment 312 in the city of Detroit. Calling case number 2435151, Devon Apartments versus Andrea Grimmett and all occupants of 2710 West Chicago, apartment 402 in the city of Detroit. This matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435152, Devon Apartments versus Antoine Williams and all occupants of 2710 West Chicago, apartment 401 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435153, Devon Apartments versus Arnesia Baldwin and all occupants of 2710 West Chicago, apartment 305 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435154, Devon Apartments versus Jimmy Smith and all occupants of 2710 West Chicago, apartment 204 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435155, Fountain Court Consumer HSG Co-op versus Aaron Austin and all occupants of 2858 18th Street, 2A, apartment 052 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435156, Fountain Court Consumer HSG Co-op versus Bree Anderson and all occupants of 2602 Butternut, apartment 106 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435157, Fountain Court Consumer HSG Co-op versus Kaya Uthru and all occupants of 2740 West Jeffries, apartment 089 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 2435-1541, Fairway Property Company LLC versus Diamonds and Curls Hair. This is for property located at 21625 8 Mile Road in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351580, Sabrina Perry, Clarence Perry versus Chantrice Riley is all occupants of 12372 Patron in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Calling case number 24351585, Vladimir Velichko versus Member Collins and all occupants of 8210 East Hilldale in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint to recover possession of property. Calling case number 24351655, Savannah Association versus Deandra Wimberly. This is for 421 West Savannah Upper in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. Calling case number 24351656, Cortana Investment Co. versus Aaron Long, Kelly Hall, and all occupants of 375 West Grand Boulevard, number 207 in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. And finally, calling case number 24351657, Aspen Real Estate Co. versus Jeffrey Farrer. This is for property located at 7365 Senator in the city of Detroit. The matter is before the court on a complaint for non-payment of rent. All of the matters that I just called are scheduled for a first hearing to take place on Friday, August 9th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. via Zoom. Pursuant to Michigan Supreme Court Administrative Order 2020-17, these matters will be adjourned to one of two dates. For the cases in which a proof of service is in the file on the date of the first hearing, or the defendant appears, or the plaintiff's attorney is able to articulate terms of service to the court, then those matters will be adjourned to a subsequent hearing to take place on September 20th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. in person at 36th District Court, which is located at 421 Madison in downtown Detroit. And the hearings will take place in courtroom 433. For cases where the plaintiff is unable to articulate terms of service and the defendant has not appeared in court and there's no proof of service in the file, those matters will be adjourned to September 6th, 2024 at 1:35 p.m. and those hearings will take place via Zoom. Those will be technical first hearings to take place on September 6th, 2024 at 1:35 via Zoom. So the matters in which service has not been effectuated, September 6th, 2024 at 1:35 via Zoom. Matters in which service has been effectuated and the plaintiff's counsel was able to articulate, or the defendant has appeared, or there's a proof of service in the file, will be adjourned to an in-person hearing to take place September 20th at 8:30 a.m. in person. Plaintiffs need to bring all substantiating documentation to the subsequent hearing, or the matter will be dismissed. That includes the deed, the lease agreement, the most up-to-date rental ledger, the completed proof of service, and any property management agreement. If there is an estate involved, the plaintiff will also need to bring letters of authority. Defendant is to bring any evidence that supports their defense. It all must be in paper format. If the defendants appear at the first hearing scheduled for Friday, August 9th, they will have an opportunity to speak to an agency attorney. The court will mail notice to all of the parties following that first hearing. Those notices will pertain to the next court date. That concludes the docket for Friday, August 9th, 2024. We are in recess.